Cubs lose to the Brewers in Game 1 of the NLDS. We talk all about it next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. This is, in essence, our Monday episode. Might be here with a bonus or maybe a short that Sam will do similar to Friday. Otherwise, our next full episode will be after Monday's game. We're going to trend that way to preview Monday. That's a critical game after what happened on Saturday. Also, the offense being one-dimensional, the Matthew Boyd decision, and more, as the Cubs did lose 9-3 to the Brewers in Game 1 of the NLDS on Saturday. Matthew Boyd on short rest after throwing Game 1 of the wild card this past week. Didn't get out of the first inning, allowing 6 runs on 4 hits and a walk. The Cubs can be a bad matchup for what the Brewers do well, right? Brewers put the ball in play a lot. Cubs have a great defense, but Nico Hoerner made an error in the first that compounded all those things. And Sam, after that, the game was over early in this one.
Yeah, game felt over pretty much after the first inning. I think this game comes down to a few things. One of them, the biggest one, or close to the biggest one, is the Boyd choice, which we're going to talk about in a bit. So I'll leave that. The other part is the Brewers moved the baseball around. The Cubs made a big mistake. And then, offensively, the Cubs scored 3 runs, but there just wasn't a whole lot of traffic again. And now their total, they've played 4 games in the postseason, and they've scored 9 runs. So that's not going to cut it. But the other side of the coin is this. I personally, not only did I not expect Boyd to start today, as I was talking with Chuck yesterday before the announcement came, I thought for sure it was going to be Colin Ray, but I did not expect the Cubs to win today. I thought that today was a must-win game for Milwaukee. And I know people will kind of scoff at that and go, how can it be a must-win game? It's a must-win game for both teams. Yes, it is. I mean, you don't throw away playoff games and things of that nature, but this isn't a 3-game series. It's a 5-game series. And I just felt like with all the Brewers playoff demons of the past, the Cubs literally clinching about 40-plus hours ago, whatever it was, celebrating and all that stuff. With their best guy on the mound, I just thought that this was a game the Brewers had to get. They got it. It was a little bit concerning in the dominance of how it got it. It looked like it was just 2 totally different teams playing out there, as how it looked at times during the middle of the regular season. But the message here for the Cubs is simple, Matt. This game now does not matter. It doesn't matter if you lost 9-3, 90-3, or 3-2. You're down 1-0. Your goal coming into this series was to come back home 1-1, just like you did in 2015 against St. Louis. I remember when the Cubs lost that game 1, everyone's like, all right, Cardinals are better, or whatever. And what did they do in Game 2? They played a little small ball in the second inning. They found a way to get the crowd into it. Jorge Soler, a big home run. You blink, it's 1-1. You come back to Wrigley ready to go. I have this series going 5 games. Monday night becomes the game we're very similar to Thursday that feels kind of do or die-ish, because I just don't think you're going to beat this Brewers team 3 consecutive times up 2-0. But, Hoerner error, the Boyd situation, and just a really quiet offensive day.
Yeah, it was. Didn't go well at all. Went terribly at times. But I am reminding myself of a lot of what you just went over. And the simplicity of that, it's the first to 3, not the first to 1, though Monday becomes critical to make sure you return to Wrigley with the series tied at a game apiece.
Yes.
Boyd instead of Ray might be easy to second guess when Ray is the only option. By the way, the Assad crowd. Assad was not in the mix. He didn't even make the team. So Ray, the only option. Well, he's been sharp for a long time, number one. Number two, Boyd hadn't been trending well up until, his last couple of outings. And over Ray's last 5 appearances in the regular season, I mean, listen to these numbers. He posted a 2.6 ERA with 32 strikeouts and 4 walks in 27 1/3. He'd be pitching against his former team. Boyd would be on full rest. Everybody would then be on full rest. It'd be a domino effect.
Right.
I remember talking about it in the moments the Cubs beat the Padres the other day, Sam. I didn't even understand why Boyd was warming up in the pen. I thought that was a shock to me. That to me meant he was going to pitch today.
Yeah, you called that. I was surprised.
I agreed with that. I mean, I observed that, but I don't know if I agreed with it.
Yeah.
And did he make good pitches today? No. Is that because of rest? Probably not. But the fact is you did have a good option in Ray. And I know they were underdogs entering the game. But what do you think about this? Because he was out of the game after 20 pitches.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed that the timing of this. Unfortunately, we didn't have a show because if we had a show before the game, it wouldn't have been second guessing. It would have been first guessing.
Sure.
Because I was very surprised when that got released Friday evening.
On Friday, yeah.
It didn't make any sense to me for a few reasons, and obviously hindsight's 20/20. But I'm pretty transparent with you guys when I miss on stuff, which happens. I just, for example, I couldn't believe that Palencia got 11, 12 outs. I wouldn't have believed that. It goes both ways.
Sure.
First of all, Boyd did not look good at all against the Brewers in his 2 starts this year. So bringing him back, obviously he has to pitch in the series at some point, forcing him to come back on 3 days rest. I get it. He didn't throw a lot against the Padres. Observing that outing, it felt much more like a survival from Boyd than a great outing. The results were good enough, but it's just not crisp right now. He struggled at the end of the year. Colin Ray, like you said, for all the reasons, I thought it was going to be Ray and Soroka, piece it together, do the best you can. I was surprised they pushed Boyd, and it backfired. And look, maybe we're having a different conversation right now if Nico makes a fairly routine play. That's fair. But, Matthew Boyd didn't make it through the first inning. And so, and the other thing with Boyd is and you can't cater everything. He's so much better at home than he is on the road, and so that would have been a long rest to push him all the way to game 3. But it was a curious decision. I think Ray earned the start. Former team felt pretty good and confident that he would go out and give us a competitive effort. But I will say at the end of the day, I think the Cubs are going to lose this game regardless of who pitched. The Brewers are ready to go today. So tip of the cap, and let's find a way to win game 2.
Michael Soroka was also bad, allowing 3 runs on 5 hits and 2 walks.
Yeah, he was not good.
Aaron Savali helped out, going 4 1/3 shutout. Ben Brown finished the game. It's going to be everyone's available at least on Monday after whoever starts, which is a big decision that we'll get to later. Before we do that, the offense has scored nine runs in 4 games, despite out-homering their opponents by a lot. 9 runs over 4 games, not a lot. Let's talk about it next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. If you like the Cubs before this game, now's the time to jump on them because the Brewers are probably going to go up. The Cubs will probably be at least maybe 2.5, 3-1 now to win the series. But if you're like me and you thought that this was going to go 5 games, you probably were going to lose game one. So now you can go get some value. They were plus 100 before first pitch today in the series. If you can go get them at 2-1, 2.5-1 now, go get them if you believe in this Cubs team. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Shout out to the everydayers. You can become a Locked On Cubs everydayer by joining us for every episode throughout the week, which today is a Saturday, a rare Saturday recording.
Maybe the
Our
first
next
ever
full show will be after Monday's game, game 2 of the NLDS, which is at 8:08 p.m. Central.
Oh, I thought we were done. I thought we had our last late night show.
I know. I thought it was going to be till the first West Coast trip next year. But,
no, we got a late one and a big one. But,
we're going to get at least one of those.
Maybe the biggest game we've ever covered.
Wow. Cubs offense has scored 9 runs in 4 postseason games, 241 average, OBP of just 287, 6 home runs. That leads the playoffs right now, but 9 total runs and 0 stolen bases.
Yeah.
That to me is notable as well. Again, the Cubs do things that pose a bad matchup for the Brewers. And as you compare and contrast them on the same sides of the ball, Cubs have slug, Brewers don't have much. Well, the Cubs out-homered the Brewers in this game by 3 and lost by 6.
Right.
And you always hear about barrel rate. The Cubs lost by 6. Look, I get it. The Brewers are 29th in barrel rate. That's a real stat.
Yeah.
The Cubs are top 10. But and a lot of this, Sam, and I'm preaching to the choir to you, but the Brewers learned how to win a long time ago, years ago now. And it really doesn't matter how they get there. They get there.
Yeah.
And the Cubs offense, they're very one-dimensional right now. I do wonder if that limits them in making a run.
Well, I'm going to save all that stuff for after. And we got all off season to talk about baseball philosophy and things like that. Right now, the Cubs have to find a way to win three baseball games before the Brewers do, and none of that stuff matters. And you can homer your way to victory, but you need some traffic on the bases to do it. I believe all 6 home runs of those, I believe, are all solos, right? They had 3 today that were solo. Sayers was solo. Bush was solo. Kelly was solo. And the Padres, they haven't had a homer with a man on base. So
right.
That's going to be difficult. It's also, I think Fermin with the Padres just did an awesome job shutting down the run game. And today they didn't really have any traffic to run. No. So, they got to get more hits. They got to put the ball, the bat on the ball more offensively. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without, basically, I don't want to say that I'm limiting what the Cubs can do this October, but for them to make a deep run, and let's be honest, a deep run would be winning this series. Their offense has to return to where it was. Like what they did to San Diego, that was great. They wriggled it out, but you're not going to be able to wriggly it out. This team plays like that. They're going to wriggly it out. They don't care. They're going to slap the ball around. They do need to hit some home runs, Matt. They need to get some guys on base, because at the end of the day, look what you're asking pitching wise. Your number 1 starter couldn't get through the first inning. Your number 2 starter, they don't even trust to start. They have him open. Tyone was masterful. But it's really hard right now to win. You're missing. You can make the case you're missing your 2 best pitchers. One of them got hurt in April. One of them emerged and got hurt here recently, and it's not going to pitch. We kind of, they talked about how, hey, maybe he'll be ready for the NLDS, whatever. Okay. I mean, I don't want to go there, but so you really need to hit, and there hasn't been much signs of that. I mean, today they faced a great pitcher that obviously always feels like he gets up for the Cubs, but 12 more strikeouts for the Cubs, 6 hits. And with all due respect, outside of the Bush homer, the 2 other homers that were meaningless. So, you're going to have to find a way to really put up some runs in this series, because it's going to be tough to get 27 outs without this team scoring, especially there with how locked in they are and where our pitching staff is.
Well, 4 games, 6 walks, 47 strikeouts. That's not something that's sustainable. They are going to have to get in the lab tomorrow and go over that. And I don't know to expect Quinn Priester or Quintana or whoever.
Yeah, so that's a great point.
Maybe Pat Murphy pulls a rabbit out of his hat and Chad Patrick starts. But
whoever it is, they should be able to hit him. They
should.
Yeah.
And you should put the ball in play a ton.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, your people are going to strike out against Priester or whoever, but put the ball in play, give yourself a chance. I do think there's going to be opportunities to do damage. And we saw some good signs from guys on Saturday. Pete's first hit, Horner homered.
Is that a good sign, though, the Horner homer? Or is that, you know what I mean? I know Nico Horner could hit. I'm with you on Pete.
Sure.
I'd like to see a sign from Kyle Tucker. I'd like to see him get an extra base hit.
Yes, Seiya got rung up a couple times.
I'd like to see Tucker get an extra base hit.
When was the last time he got one?
Well, he's been hurt for a while, and so
probably late August.
No, the game that he homered in before he got hurt.
September 2nd, yeah.
You know, I mean, we all know that situation come the last game of the year, you know, that's probably be Kyle Tucker's last game in a Cub uniform. And man, I mean, it would be really fun to see him have a huge game, you know, like Cubs win 6-4 on Monday and he hits 2 home runs. So it's like, hey man, like I want that trade to just, I want to put an exclamation mark on that. So I don't have to sit all off season, you know, being upset about it.
Well, and they would if they win 3 games against the Brewers.
100%.
Because after that, everything really would be a bonus.
Oh, 100%.
They made a lineup change Saturday.
Yeah.
So they can't really make another one, you know, swapping Tucker and Happ. Of course, it didn't matter on Saturday. Hopefully it does moving forward. But I don't see any changes lineup wise.
No.
I appreciate Pete's adjustments, you know, from Wednesday to Thursday last week. Maybe there's something small in there for a Seiya or a Tucker or a Happ as well. But really, to me, it's the OBP. For that to be in the 280s, for them to abandon what they've done so well, which is to just grind out the starting pitcher.
Yeah. And
accept your walks, move the baseball across the field, then hit home runs. Just something I'm desiring to see.
Yeah, again. Let me just make one positive point.
Okay.
Nick Pivetta and Dylan Cease were really, really good. The Padres bullpen is otherworldly. Freddie Peralta is really, really good. They got to Yu Darvish. With all due respect to Quinn Priester and with all due respect to Jose Quintana, this is going to be a level down in terms of the starters you're facing. So I wouldn't call
by a lot.
I wouldn't call this. I'm not like, oh my gosh, what's going on with the offense? Freddie Peralta. I think Freddie Peralta is probably the most underrated pitcher in baseball. I mean, the guy.
He's been great for 5 years.
Every year he's great, and every year he pitches really well against our club. But with your season on the line on a big stage with our hitters, you should be able to get to Priester and Quintana.
Yeah, and again, I think there's a small chance Chad Patrick pitches, but it'll probably be one of
and
those
you should
guys.
be able to get to him.
Of course. Who's gonna oppose one of those dudes? What's the path to victory in game 2 late into Monday evening? We get to that next.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought, like I identified, because all I do is spend money on food delivery services instead of driving the 7 minutes to go get the food. That stuff starts to add up. Maximizing investments, increasing your savings rate, easily reviewing finances with your partner and or advisor, keeping a clear review of your financial health week to week. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Cubs. That way you don't miss any of the great Cubs content we've got for you, whether that's Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Cubs Brewers game 2 of the NLDS, 8:08 p.m. Central Monday. Over 48 hours in between games. That could possibly help the Cubs right there. You're going to have your 5 main short relief guys totally rested now after not appearing Saturday. Who starts, though? Can't be Shota Imanaga, in my opinion. You see what happened with the lefty starter and Boyd. You see the trends of these two guys, and quite frankly, the Cubs are trusting them less and less, especially given the way they're used last series. Please just wait to pitch Imanaga on Wednesday or even Thursday, depending on...
And it's going to be cool.
Yeah, depending on whether or not Jameson Taillon starts on short rest Monday. Taillon threw 60 pitches Thursday. But how about this? You just did that with Boyd. So maybe you write what you now evaluate as maybe wrong and start Ray. And then you have options with Imanaga and Taillon at Wrigley later in the series. Sam, what do you think?
I think what you think. I would go Ray Monday night.
Okay.
I think he's earned that right. And then I would go Taillon Wednesday, and then hopefully Shota on Thursday. That's probably where I would go. If you want to go Taillon short rest Monday, I would just piggyback him with Ray. Do you go all hands on deck and maybe go Shota for 2, then to Taillon, or then to Ray? I don't know. But I'm with you. I would like to see Shota at Wrigley. I've already looked at the forecast. And the middle of the week, the middle of the week next week, it's going to greatly cool off. Now, the problem is this Brewer team, they don't really rely on, they don't hit a bunch of fly balls.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know how that matchup plays, but even at Wrigley, it's just a harder place to hit. And the Cubs have handled them at Wrigley this year. So, they won 3 out of 5 and whatnot. So, I would lean Ray, JMO, Shota on long rest, so he's ready to rock and roll. That would be my lean, but I don't know. They might start Shota. All I know is Monday night's all hands on deck. So you could see Shota for 2, and then it could go, Ray for 2, and then it could be, then they're going to go to
the bullpen.
They're going to go to their Thielbar, their Palencia, their Pomerantz, their Kittredge, their Keller. That's where they're most comfortable. And it's a must-win situation. So I don't even know if the starter really matters that much on Monday night, because it might be real short.
So that would be interesting to me. I would even do Shota 9 batters.
Yeah, that might be too many.
Ray 9,
mm-hmm.
And then you do the group of 5.
Yeah, I think it might.
I could be sold on that, because then you'd go Taillon Wednesday, Boyd Thursday.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. And Boyd's much better at home.
Okay.
So
I heard that. Ooh.
Yeah. No, I just,
man, you've really lost confidence in Boyd, but so is the team.
I thought I really didn't think he was that good Tuesday. I just respected his effort and his competitiveness, and I love the guy, and he's had a great year. But man, it just doesn't seem as crisp with him, and the Brewers seem to have his numbers a little bit. But I'll tell you this. If it's if it's 2-1 Brewers or 2-1 Cubs, and you're telling me Boyd's going to get a second chance game 4, I think he'll rise to the occasion because he's a prideful guy and he's better than that.
That sounds right.
That sounds right. So, yeah, I would go
quintessential Boyd. How about a quintessential Boyd start to win the series Thursday?
Yeah, well, you'd have to beat him 3 straight times to do that.
Right.
Here's what you need to do. I'll close with this.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
This Brewers team is I know what they're up to. Okay. I have a very similar personality as Pat Murphy does. He's doing
keep food in your clothing. Go ahead.
The average Joe's dodgeball thing. Did you see that in their lockers?
I did. Yes.
He's trying to keep them. Hey, you guys are the underdogs. Nobody believes in you. We're just a bunch of nobodies. Look, you're not
won almost 100 games.
Yeah, you're not fooling me. This is a really good baseball team. They just do it differently than other people. Just because they do it differently doesn't make them underdogs. It doesn't make that. They are in control of this series. They are the favorites in this series. What I want to see this team do, and when I say this team, I mean the Brewers, see what happens if the Cubs put a little game pressure on them, right? We never got a chance to really do that in the divisional race. Find a way to win a game on Monday night, and let's see how they respond. Chuck from Locked On Brewers, his prediction was Cubs split in Milwaukee, and the Brewers come into Wrigley Field and take 2. If that's the case, then this Brewer team is really, really, really tough. I want to see how they respond if the Cubs beat them. The Cubs got to put some pressure on them. Make them feel like, all they don't feel any pressure. They were up right away in this game. They've dominated. They've been the feel-good story. They're great. Their coach keeps challenging them. Nobody believes in you guys. When they came into Wrigley, we're the underdogs. Meanwhile, the Cubs were 9 games out at that time. They've had a 14-game win streak, an 11-game win streak, a 9-game win streak. They are not some, oh my gosh, Cinderella story. They just do it differently. And I respect the way they do it. But I want to see what happens. I want to see what happens if the Cubs put some real pressure on them, go into Milwaukee, steal a game 5-4, and then you come back to an atmosphere that's far better than the one that they produced today at our stadium, our house, where we beat the San Diego Padres, who are really, really good too, and let's see what happens. Get it 1-1 to Wrigley. That's all you got to do. Get it 1-1.
Yeah, that was always the goal. It hasn't changed, even though you got beat handily on Saturday. And maybe someone could clip that and send it over to a couple of the guys. Also,
Central. Is this game getting played in San Diego? Or
also, you made the point earlier, Sam. The Cubs have beaten the Brewers at Wrigley. Excuse me. I remember when they beat them easily in May in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
they did it this year.
Yeah.
The Apple TV night on Friday, then the next day when you, me, and Nick Cozy met up.
Yeah, fortunately, that was a long time ago, and it's a different Brewer team.
I know, but we saw it happen though. Right?
Well, Pete hit about 4 homers. Where's that?
Yeah. All right.
All
right, we'll be back.
Well, can I share one story with you?
Yeah.
So my mom was over today for the first part of the game.
Oh wow.
Well, I don't know why that's a big story. And so Bush hits the homer, right?
Yeah.
And my mom, because like a leadoff homer feels like more than a run because it's like, whoa, you just started the game with a homer. And so I was like, Mom, those don't do much for me. It's 1-0. Let's see how Boyd looks. And my mom's like, hey, you have got to stop. She's like, you have got to stop being so cynical. Be positive. They're up 1-0 in a playoff series. Like, what are you doing? And she was right. And you know how I am. And then 6-1 about 20 minutes later. And she kind of just looked. She looked at me, nodded her head, and took off.
This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. For your great story. For your second listen, check out the
Go Illini. Nice win in West Lafayette.
Locked On MLB Game Night. Yeah, bye week for the Hawkeyes. Every game, every night, all season
Buckeyes
long.
Come to Champaign next week.
Get local analysis on a national scale. Find MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, we'll be back with a shorty of some kind Sunday, either a short or a bonus episode that will be on the shorter side, but for sure catch us back after Monday night's game. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.